The appeals court did not change the verdict of 13 oil workers previously sentenced to different terms for taking part in organizing mass riots on December 16, 2011. Rosa Tulitaeva was the only one who received any kind of mitigation, with the court changing her prison term from 7 to 5 years. The court rules to change the verdict issued by the Mangistar Region City Court, dated June 4, 2012. Rosa Tulitaeva, charged with Article 241, Part 1 of the Criminal Code, is to receive a reduced term of 5 instead of 7 years of imprisonment. The audience clearly expected full acquittal and thus were unable to hold back tears after listening to the judge. Public activists also expressed their opinion on the matter. We were hoping for justice and fairness here at the Court of Appeals, yet as you can see, the outcome has outraged not only the families of 13 defendants, but also ordinary people who witnessed how numerous gross violations were identified during the Supreme Court hearing. The people had great hopes. They believed in law and authorities, otherwise they wouldn't have filed an appeal. They relied on the law in good faith. They did not expect all 13 convicts to be released. They only hoped for conditional sentences for those with 3-year terms. In the meantime, Rosa Tulitaeva, who was given the most severe sentence, is still subjected to pressure in the Actau detention center, reported on Monday her daughter Aliya. Allegedly, the investigators are now threatening Tulitaeva's family. On August 2nd, her cousin was summoned to the chief of police and forced to sign a document saying he would not avenge for Tulitaeva, attend any rallies, or reveal to the media the exerted pressure. Aliya says her loved ones are extremely tired and psychologically exhausted. Therefore, she has no other choice but to appeal to international organizations and anyone willing to support the Rosa Tulitaeva's family in such difficult times. I do not know whom to ask for help. We are asking for protection. Our family needs support because we are psychologically exhausted. I believe if the situation remains the same, my mom or perhaps someone from the family might commit suicide. My mother is still subjected to continuous pressure. Over the phone, she informed me that Yerjan, the NSC officer who was beating and torturing her during the investigation, continues to exert pressure. He also told me to keep me and our relatives quiet, otherwise something could happen to us. I guess it was him who had my mother call us, requesting to behave and remain silent. The kids will be going to school soon. I don't even know what to do. Mother persistently asked me to keep children at home, not allowing them to go outside or even to school. Andrei Tsukanov, a reporter with the opposition newspaper Respublika, was assaulted in the early morning on August 5th. Tsukanov was approached from behind and knocked down. According to Respublika chief editor Oksana Makushina, the attackers proceeded to rob the unconscious reporter. By now, Tsukanov feels well and is already back at work. The criminal case was initiated following the incident. When he regained consciousness, he realized that his 2 cell phones were missing, as well as his IDs, including the reporter's pass. In addition, the attackers also stole his bus ticket to Taraz, where he was going to attend the trial of Vadim Kuramshin. Regardless of the incident, he made it to Taraz, from where he informed us about the incident. A new scandal broke out within the Department of Border Service of Kazakhstan's National Security Committee. Apparently, NSC Academy colonels are persecuted for reporting corruption cases. The officers and their attorneys said at a press conference in Almaty they believe the criminal case against them was framed by Ivanov, the head of the investigation unit of the NSC Military Police Department, out of revenge. Thus, the state laws designed to protect those who fight against corruption are applied against them with vigor. Please note that all our laws are well designed and take every detail into consideration. While we try to acquit our clients by referring to the current legislation, these state officials interpret them completely differently. In addition, law enforcement officers have a very different mindset. For some reason, only they can be prosecutors in their opinion. In December 2011, the head of the Academy's security department, along with his deputy, revealed a case of bribery involving junior officers. A few months and several phone calls from influential people later, these charges were dropped by the military prosecutor's office. This time, however, contrary to expectations, criminal cases were initiated against senior officers on charges of abuse of office and insulting military officers. We hope that the chief military prosecutor will examine the legal violations on the part of the military prosecutor of the Almaty garrison. We also hope that based on my appeal, the staff of the chief military prosecutor office will objectively and justly investigate this case. Lawlessness of the military law enforcement authorities of the Almaty garrison forced us to seek support from the public. On August 8th, the Almaty military court will hold a trial on Aknazarov, who is charged with insulting servicemen and could face up to 2 years in prison. И наложил взыскание. Families of men charged with embezzling funds in BTA Bank appealed to the president of the country with an open letter, asking him to recall the sentence and fully acquit the convicted individuals. The appeals hearing kicked off on Monday, even though no one expected it sooner than September. The judge of the Almaty City Court granted the hearing with the motion submitted less than a month ago. The defense called for additional examination and the presence of convicts in the courtroom. To recap, 21 former employees of BTA Bank were sentenced to various terms by the Supreme Court. 17 of them were taken into custody right in the courtroom. If this is reviewed as economic crime, with all due respect to the court and prosecutors, they can't possibly know all the components, as there are some 300 volumes of case materials. No one knows it better than the convicts themselves, hence the appeal was mainly written by them and not their lawyers. They are currently drafting a defense speech in prison, willing and entitled to be heard and defend themselves in the courtroom. Last Saturday, 3 people were injured in an explosion at a Zhanaozian cafe. The manager of the place and 2 employees were taken to hospital with 2nd and 3rd degree burns. The preliminary investigation revealed that the blast was caused by a gas leak supplied to the cafe via a central gas pipeline. The explosion was set off by a spark caused by switching on the lights. The investigation team is currently working on the site. On August 4, 2012, approximately at 8:30 a.m., the Mangostar Regional DIA received a call from Zhanaozian DIA officer on duty who reported about the blast in Parus Cafe, located in Zhanaozian on Gubkina Street. 3 people are reported injured as a result. New details of the Shymkent fire emerged on Monday. The investigation department of the South Kazakhstan Regional DIA initiated a criminal case for the deliberate destruction of property. Investigators believe that the incident at the central market of Shymkent was actually arson. According to DIA press service, 56 investigators and 11 forensic experts are currently engaged in the case. Saltanat Karakozova, the South Kazakhstan Regional DIA press secretary, says the Shymkent PD still receives statements from people who lost property in the blaze, with the number of claims already exceeding 2,000. Per preliminary data, the flames destroyed thousands of retail outlets, resulting in more than 7,000 people suffering material damages. 1 casualty was reported after the incident, a 32-year-old citizen of Kyrgyzstan. The investigation to identify the suspects involved in the arson is currently underway. This includes security personnel which was supposed to guard the market on the day of the incident. 15 out of 21 security guards were interviewed already. We have the total of 56 investigators and 11 forensic experts from the Department of Internal Affairs and of the Internal Affairs agencies of South Kazakhstan region, stationed in Shymkent. And right now we are waiting for the results of the fire technical examination. Boris Preobrazhensky passed away on August 4th at the age of 74. He was the honorary artist of Russia and Kazakhstan and the Chevalier of the French Order of Merits in Arts and Literature. Preobrazhensky was closely linked to the golden age of Kazakhstan's Natalia Sats Youth Theater. A student of Georgy Tavstanogov, Preobrazhensky moved to Almaty from Russia in 1986 at the invitation of the Ministry of Culture. He spent the next 20 years as the youth theater's artistic director and founder of the New Stage Theater, where he directed his best plays, including Romanov's There Can't Be 2 Queens, Gogol's The Government Inspector, and Chekhov's The Seagull. In 2000, Preobrazhensky was forced to leave the youth theater and move back to Russia. However, by this point, the director already considered Kazakhstan his second home and eventually returned. In recent years, Preobrazhensky worked as a professor at the Zhurgenev Arts Academy. The funeral service will be held in Almaty on August 7th in the building of Natalia Sats Youth Theater. The flower-laying ceremony in memory of nuclear testing victims was held in Astana on Monday. The event, dedicated to the 67th anniversary of the tragedy in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, took place next to the capital's Otan Ana monument. Semipalatinsk nuclear test site and the terrible consequences of Chernobyl and Fukushima were also remembered. At the same time, Kazakhstan plans to build its own nuclear plant in the nearest future. Public activists are very concerned about the initiative, with environment specialists believing this step is unreasonable. Representatives of the Japanese delegation carefully chose words answering questions about the danger of nuclear power, but still assert they are ready to help with the construction. I believe very strict control is required for this. Our countries can cooperate in building a nuclear power plant in Kazakhstan. Environment specialist Musaghali Doğanbekov is very vocal about negative impact of nuclear plant construction on the shore of the Caspian Sea. He argues that there is a lack of qualified personnel, the project is economically inefficient, the costs are enormous, while the prospects are questionable at best. In addition, the ex-presidential candidate mentions the danger of placing plants near the territorial waters of neighboring countries. It is very dangerous to place a nuclear power plant on the shore of the sea, which is shared by 5 countries. It is fraught with serious consequences. God forbid, but if tomorrow this nuclear power plant goes up like Chernobyl, we will never be able to pay off the other 4 states. 3 more Olympic gold medals were collected by the national team of Kazakhstan during the weekend. Svetlana Podobedova triumphed in a dramatic duel with Russia's Natalia Zabolotnaya to win the gold in the last lift of the women's 75-kilogram weight category. The two were neck and neck through the competition and breaking each other's Olympic records in the process. Eventually, though, Podobedova lifted 161 kilograms in her final clean and jerk to match Zabolotnaya's total of 291 kilograms, but still claimed gold due to her lower body weight. Irina Kuleshova of Belarus was a distant third with 269 kilograms. The gold medal is far more valuable than the world record. The fact that these records were set by Russian athletes is not important to me. The most important thing is that I'm the one with the gold. With a successful defense of his title, Ilya Ilyin became the double Olympic champion. The victory seemed to come easy as the athlete won with a clear advantage of 8 kilos in clean and jerk against the rest of the competition. Along the way, Ilya has set a new world record in the 94-kilo clean and jerk by lifting 233 kilograms total. When combined with his 185-kilogram snatch lift, his ultimate of 418 kilos is also a new world record. Alexander Ivanov of Russia, his main competitor, lost to Ilyin by 9 kilos and won the silver medal. On August 5th, the anthem of Kazakhstan was played for the 6th time when another gold medal was collected by Olga Ripakova, a track and field athlete who leaped to a mark of 14.98 meters to become best in the triple jump competition. Of course, I would like to thank the entire country for not just cheering, but believing in me and supporting. I felt it, and it gave me great strength.